What's up guys, Matthew Monas here, and I don't know if you remember, but a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks ago, I reviewed the Acer V Nitro 15-inch gaming notebook. This is a portable, thin gaming notebook with a GTX 1060 that can comfortably play most games at high settings at 1080p. But it had two major problems. The first problem was every time you move the display, it would shut off until you move it again. And the second problem was it would completely overheat. I said in my video I'd get a brand new review unit, and I have one right over here. And in this video, we're gonna find out if those display issues have been fixed and whether or not it still overheats. Alright, so let's start off with the first issue, and that's the display. In my previous review, it would completely turn off depending on which position I had it in, and then I have to jiggle it again or move it to a new position in order for the display to come back on. And I was pretty convinced it was just one bad apple, and I was absolutely right. That does not happen with the new review unit here that's in the studio. So you can cross that off the list of issues. The second and the more concerning issue that I had was the overheating. It would completely overheat. Doesn't matter what you did, load up a game or play a game, after 5 minutes it would start to get hot and it just became uncomfortable. I hate to say it, it's still happening with the new review unit here that I have in the studio, so overheating is still a major concern. Just for example, I loaded up Overwatch, and this was directly after starting the computer, not even playing the game, just letting it update, and the computer was already hitting temperatures or the CPU was already hitting temperatures of 90 degrees Celsius. So it really has some serious thermal issues. And after that, I decided to play the game itself. And after 10 to 15 minutes, the surface area around the PLQ and semicolon key started to get around 50 degrees Celsius. So that's kind of uncomfortable when your hands are touching that area. I'm a lefty, so I use my right hand, and those are the keys that I use as my WASD key. So I know I'm a little weird, but that's just how I use my computer. And after 10 to 15 minutes, I couldn't play anymore because it was starting to get a little too uncomfortable. It's really too bad because it's thin, it's all black, it's a great gaming laptop, it has a GTX 1060, and it's fairly portable. And usually Acer does a fantastic job at cooling their laptops. Like I've reviewed the Acer VX15, the Acer Predator 15, and they all do a great job with heat. So what can you actually do if you own this laptop already and want to reduce the heat? Well, first of all, if you're still in that return period, I suggest returning it and getting another Acer laptop. Or if you're not in the return period, send it in, tell them your issues. Maybe they'll send you a different unit and maybe you'll have better results. But if you're a PC enthusiast or your warranty's over or you have a model from last year, the only thing you can really do is dilute the CPU, undervolt it, and thermal throttle it yourself. Now again, these things I'm suggesting are for hardcore PC enthusiasts. Dilating the CPU requires you to remove the integrated heat spreader from the CPU itself, remove all that thermal paste, reapply it, put it back on, and hope for the best. Now in the process, you avoid your warranty, plus the gains you might get from it might only be about 5 to 7 degrees difference. Now if you do this, you can continue on further, and the next step you can do is undervolt the CPU. What does undervolting mean? Well, basically what you're doing is you're sending less power to the CPU, therefore the CPU doesn't get as hot, and therefore the CPU doesn't produce as much heat. The problem with that is depending on the silicone lottery, and if you get a good CPU, you could run into lag, your system could start crashing, and it could eventually damage the CPU. So that pretty much wraps up my update on the Acer V Nitro. I still can't recommend it due to its overheating, but there's some other fantastic Acer laptops out there that you might want to check out. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and as always, I will see you in the next video.